the Blackout card's been released, apparently, you turned down the offer to do the battle. What's going on with that? Why aren't you on Blackout?
Yeah, I had to turn down their offer. They got at me way too late in the game. There's a certain amount of preparation time that I need before a battle, and they got at me like maybe 5-6 weeks before the event. Half of the announcements had already been put out, so they'd already set up a lot of other battles previous to sort of getting at me as like just sort of a last minute thing, and it just didn't seem right. The opponent that they offered me wasn't the right opponent. Mm-hmm. And it just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense for me to battle someone just for no reason.
Who is the opponent that you wanted to battle?
I wanted to battle Caustic. I think the only battle that makes sense that the fans want to see right now is me versus Caustic, and a lot of fans want to see that battle. It's a big battle. There's no reason for them to try to set it up on some last minute shit. That should be a battle that they're trying to set up as like, a marquee battle for the event. But they weren't.
So they obviously asked you to battle somebody different. Who was that?
They were trying to get me to battle a couple different names. They offered a couple different names, and no offense or shade or anything to the names that they offered me. They were good names, but again, it was just the short notice thing, and it was the fact that that battle didn't make sense to me. Like really, what would have made more sense to me would have been me versus Caustic, and because the card is Blackout. Nobody knows who's battling who. They're just going to put out announcements. So if they announce that Caustic's on the card, and then they announce that I'm on the card, naturally, the fans are going to expect that they're going to get to see this battle that they've been waiting for. And I just feel like it's kind of almost like it's a false representation to the fans. It's almost like false advertising, you know what I mean? So that was another reason I kind of like just thought, nah.
Yeah, because even me myself, when Caustic dropped on the mystery event thing that they had, I totally thought.
Trust me, my inbox lit up and everybody's hitting me up like, "Yo, Kane, I can't wait to see you versus Caustic. I'm glad it's finally going down. You're gonna crush him, this, that." And it was just like, man, and I felt like I couldn't even respond to fans and say anything because the whole event's Blackout. It's supposed to be a big secret, right?
Yeah.
And any rapper that does sign a contract for that, it's also. There's like a gag order on the contract. You can't say anything. You can't tell anybody who you're battling. You can't talk about any of the battles. So that was another reason I kind of just didn't want to do it because I'd rather not have my tongue tied. I'd like to be able to speak my mind like we're doing right now in this interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. What do you think? There's any particular reason maybe why the battle hasn't happened yet?
The same reason, like exactly what I'm saying. They keep on trying to hit me up at the last minute before these big events to set up this battle. And it first started at the last Blackout, where Drake was helping finance the event. Mm-hmm. They got at me. They said, Drake wants to see you versus Caustic. Again, it was less than 2 months before the battle, that's the time that I like to have to prepare. But I was like, all right, I'm still thinking about doing it. I knew that Drake was financing it. I asked for a high amount of money to do it. I don't think I was out of my lane at all and asking for what I asked for. King of the Dot came back to me with a real lowball offer that just didn't excite me at all or really light a fire under me to do the amount of writing that I had to do under the short time period. So I was like, nah, I had to say that's not gonna work. And they upped the cash a little bit, but it just, again, the incentive wasn't there. In the time that it took for all this negotiating to go back and forth, a couple more weeks had passed. So at this point, it's like, 4 weeks before the event. And a battle that people want to see like that, me versus Caustic, let me write. Give me my time to write so I can put on the performance that I want to put on, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to do that battle and just like half-ass it and put on a half-ass performance. If I'm going to do that battle, I want the fans to see the best possible Arcane they can see, and the company should want that too. King of the Dot should want to see me perform at my best. So why they were trying to push the battle to me on short notice, I don't know, but it happened at Blackout. And then again, I told them, how about World Domination? Let's push it to World Domination, because I said I would rather the battle have some lead up. Instead of it being a big secret battle at Blackout, let's have some lead up. I wanted to put out some video blogs. I wanted to set the record straight on some shit. And for some reason, they didn't want to do that. And I just feel like a battle like that needs more lead up. Like Caustic is on the Dirtbag Dance show slandering me, lying, making up bullshit to try to bolster his own career. for the past 3 years, the dude's had his name in my mouth. You know what I mean? All of a sudden now he's coming to Canada, and he don't want to battle me. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy to me.
So you still obviously want to battle Caustic then, right?
I'm down to do the battle, but you know what I mean? If the dude is just gonna duck the battle and act like he's too good to do it, like, really, I just wanted to do the battle to fucking expose him for being the liar and the hypocrite that he is, you know what I mean? And set the record straight, and I don't want nobody saying his name in my battles no more. Every time I battle a rapper and they say, oh, Caustic, this, that, it's all bullshit. All these rappers are doing is just giving Caustic credit that he doesn't deserve. He never deserved it. It's all predicated on a lie. So I need to set that record straight. Just because I don't want to hear this fucking loser's name said in my battles anymore, you know what I mean? It's kind of fucking, it's bothered me to the point where I'm like, alright, you know what, I'll deal with this fucking guy. But now he doesn't want to do it. Like, it's like it's almost like King of the Dot's actually trying to groom him for this next title shot. And you know, I don't think Caustic deserves a title shot. You know what I mean? I think if Caustic wants the title, he should have to go through a next champ, someone like me. You know what I mean? If he wants the title shot, he should have to battle me. Or if they do give him a title shot and he does get his hands on the title, he should be defending it against me next. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it.
Do you think he deserves a title shot?
Fuck no. What did Caustic do to deserve a title shot? His last battle where he lost to Big K, he cried in the battle. He went and battled who the fuck did he battle? He went and battled Big T, lost very badly to Big T. You know what I mean? And at the same event, he got clowned on by K Shine, and he just, you know, he cried about it on the internet for like a week afterwards. He cried on Twitter, and then, you know, what did K Shine do? He went on BET and like killed the Cypher with DNA. It's like, who's really winning in that situation? All Caustic does is cry. He's trying to cry his way to a title shot, and like, no, fuck no, I don't think he deserves a title shot.
He does get a lot of big names, and I mean, you know, I think he did all right against Arsenal.
He's been getting some bigger names, but here's the thing: it's all this crybaby shit. You know what I mean? He's crying his way to getting these big names. Before the Grand Prix, before the Grand Prix happened, who was he battling? He was battling like Matt Daly, Q Shinobi, like really mid-tier, low-level bums, which is where he belongs. Like, that's the level that he should have been battling on. He was doing well at that level. Next thing you know, the shit happened with me with the Grand Prix. He couldn't get across the border. And he used that whole thing of not getting across the border to really cry his way into a lot of good fortune for himself, you know what I mean? I felt bad for the dude at the time. I tried to help him out, you know what I mean? He cried to Lush and Organic. They tried to help him out by getting him some bigger battles. He got John, he got JC, you know what I mean? He did okay in those battles, but after that, it was like, you know, he was still nothing special. He was going back to battling fucking whoever, Billy Boondocks or whoever the fuck he battled after that. The only reason he got the battle with Arsenal and the battle with Averb was because Shoddy Horror canceled out, right? So that was it. Like, Caustic was never really deserving of those names. Those names would have never signed on the card to be like, oh yeah, I'll come here to battle Caustic. They were there to battle Shoddy Horror. Shoddy was a bigger name, you know what I mean? Same as me. When I was going against Disaster, I was a bigger name. I was one of the biggest names in battle rap at that time. Also the most decorated King of the Dot champion of all time. So if Caustic could somehow get his name in there and try to make people think that he's somehow responsible for all the success that I had in my career, which somehow he successfully did through the media, then, you know, it makes all of a sudden I'm reading online and people are putting Caustic in their list of top 5 writers, and it's making me laugh my ass off because I know this guy fucking every time he's got a battle he's hollering at every battle rapper he knows asking for bars because he's not a writer. He's a jokester. He's a comedian. He's like a stand-up comedian that rhymes the jokes, but he doesn't rap. You know what I mean? Like he battles, but he doesn't rap. You know. So that being said, that's one of the reasons Caustic was never someone that was on my radar that I would want to battle. I just don't think he's that dope. I think he's actually pretty more or less whack. You know what I mean? The only reason that I do want to battle him at this point is just to clear the air of all this bullshit that's been talked about me and all the. You know, I want to clear up all the lies and put the truth out there. And if he doesn't want to do the battle, I'll just put the information out there anyways. I'll just put out all the fucking shit that I have him online and fucking put out all the screenshots and put out all the fucking evidence of all the other battle rappers that have given him bars over the years, because there's a lot, you know what I mean? And we'll see what happens then. Maybe then he'll decide he wants to battle me, you know? Who knows?